Hello. Weathersfield, Connecticut, as interbranch recorded, confessed, and demonstrated. From strangers I only know of through this. I don't know all their names. And they know that, and they criminally exploiting that too. For example, with the judicial branch, the executive branch, and the legislative branch, individually grouped in together originally through time, involved with database racketeering as their worth with case treatments, all fact treatments with that sequence treatment with as their worth interbranch individually grouped together simultaneously grouped in simultaneously together means worse than that, having that self-value. They attached me to fake conversations, and they pretended that cases weren't won on time. The cases that were are won, because originally and still the uses of pretending other people, pretending to believe other people are negative as means to pretend that things they typed that were typed and that they had roles with being typed into databases criminally to pretend. That's used to keep fake experts pretend they have credibility by lying about other people, attaching them to fake words, fake locations, fake communications with other people. These are also the experts of mental health, various natures of courts involved with racketeering with their family with them, kept criminally foreign influence, kept needing to hide lie progressions. These are people with ground zero racketeering. I don't know who came up with that phrase, but also shock and awe. These are victim predators, where they have identities of law, make defense of their of the formal treatments of and as bodies of the law that are criminally foreign influenced. They've been lying about past cases. My father proved in the he helped better NLRB law as a pro se litigant in a case he won against federal criminals, pension thieves, and stuff like that with union racketeering. That is also further recorded, confessed, and demonstrated where the racketeering natures of it and how many nations overtly criminal, self-valued, uncharged that way because it's legalized. It's left legalized, sub rosa active, inherent, sequential, identity racketeering, identity thefts, identity fraud, foundation self-value, criminally foreign influence, stationary as roles. And so methods and styles and natures of pseudo-positive pretending other. See, we have people pretending that they don't realize that there's database racketeering that acts and actually recorded methods that demonstrate various natures of courts have been lying about the cases that have already been proven with interbranch families because they needed to hide lie progressions by hiding by their criminal involvements with cases, all of them now, originally and still. Now, so they've been lying about cases, and then in depositions, there are various natures of Hartford courts, and all tied to them, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated, involved with racketeering on and off CCSU, on and off Trinity College before the Trade Center attack, and leading up to that, but to that time period before the attack, and then in the attack context as the same ones connected by their roles with this racketeering method slash as bonded in and out of the trade World Trade Center and the Ninth Circuit context per points of correlation that prove it, as was proven afterwards with the lie about what was actually proven too, that they post-dated documents from inside the Ninth Circuit, presented to the panel of judges. Ninth Circuit is right next to the World Trade Center towers, right before the attack. They showed post-dated documents that had been post-dated from inside the court to the judges, and then they ruled it was filed late. Now, these are people also that had been involved with other natures of racketeering against the defendants and the plaintiffs in that case, and against me. So I could show you the pattern of actually recorded racketeering involved here. But see, they also made themselves value it. But per the roles of various natures of courts with racketeering, with their police forms and evidence reception racketeering, pretending things recorded into databases. See, we have branches of government, the same ones that are criminally pretending to be against what they do and did, which is criminally use the other branches of government, individually grouped together crime methods. So they pretend to be against such by pretending to be about judicial independence, by pretending to be about such. But they never had independence. They're preventing free speech. They're preventing the order of the finite's value and the order of sequence value from being discerned with our active quality of fact treatment nature. They're preventing all that tied to what is actually capable of our correlation by and as the value of what our active fact treatments are progressively as value. As value, where value and value. See, we're going to understand that and how values have ties to positive, and positive is in demonstration with values of their hierarchy of sequence inherent to what they are together simultaneously as identity natures of value. The value of each identity of your cells of your body, not a doctor, since founding, since before our founders were born, since before the Native American leaders and extensive education preserved at the time our founders were born. They were already entrenched here since before anyone was born. What had already perfected, not only hurting everyone, but making everyone blame the other things, others themselves, for what did that in sustained ways. And for where and how we're quality as fact treatment nature. They reverse engineered the value of the republic, the value of English as it was originally revealed, as hyper positive or negative, not only as one identity of value, but as in relationship to how we can discern this, and which is constantly discerning the difference between what makes criminal insidious nature or positive that is not criminal insidious nature. You can't legalize criminal insidious nature. It was legalized in a way that made them self-value roles with what really most furthers and exploits the overt criminal enterprises for other natures of motivations for roles with criminal insidiousness, criminally foreign influence, evidence perception, and uses of others' identities. So they lie about what was actually recorded, one, and the outcomes of cases with people from the former director of the FBI down. And as one of the co-defendants of the federal criminals from my town with their family members themselves, recorded also with racketeering acts against me and racketeering uses of each of the campuses I went to of each age, connected for them. And that's what's actually recorded. It's also tied to a pattern of crime method of forging names and switching names and preventing names from being known. So the person can't speak clear about unless using what is actually recorded true all ways. But these people are valuing states and areas roles with on off campuses undercover and directed to hide that because of how we have shared policing on off campuses. And we have them recorded with overt criminal enterprises and with private ones originally still in collusion. Private ones uncharged but recorded effective crime acts and methods roles. So we have to have but we have identities of the law originally and still victims, but maintain victim predator identities individually grouped together, misprision. to be exploited, to have that self-value as victims, only realized that way. Each branch of government individually grouped and together, each individual group and together types of jobs and associations with that. In the value nature system, that is value greater than, while being the value of all private tied to them. Also note shared identity, ground location, time relationships, sequence treatment relations, sensibilities tied to that, logic racketeering roles, needs and natures. So we have systemic opinion racketeering, incapable of defending themselves and handling and even standing logic without criminal foreign influence, discerning all that is discernible with sequence true. The order of using what is true always and not denying any exceptions, not valuing them denied, having been denied. Each one has lied. So we have a whole bunch of fake identities. I never had a conversation with this Victor Santos either. They have people with the soccer team involved with identity thefts and involved with evidence racketeering. So they use people they don't even know. They want to make it look like you have fights because then it makes it look like you were in a class with people you never were in class with. It makes it look like you were in conversations and locations and sequence relationships with other people that never were. This is a method that stacks people's names, forced everyone speaking to other, and that exploited how it's all fake. They invest the sensibilities of people with categorically lying to girls. The people who are going to go on to positions they can keep perpetually criminally foreign influence because their roles with other methods of crime, other natures, the same other natures of motivations too for the same old crimes like extortion, like identity thefts, frauds, like evidence racketeering, sequence shifts, databases, racketeering acts roles, wire crime roles, lying about what is actually recorded when you try to report things, and then pretending that they need to defend their identities. Otherwise, because of the truth they use as a lie, and worse, breaching tool that they have to defend value treatments that tie to all areas. Where we have shared policing, they're not allowed to tell about it demonstrably. They tell about it anyway. See, but so they're obfuscating that here and there. CNN did a good job reporting simultaneously good, bad. Everyone's victim predators. But where they put the statutes where it's too, I don't know what the wording of it was, but that's what they used it for. They have criminal uses of readings of statutes that are always too fast, too slow, in conjunction with where and how they prevent people from responding to writing by preventing writing. They put the truth and they make confessions about falsified police reports, forging names, switching names roles with police departments from a whole bunch of police departments that switch identities and stack databases with falsified police reports, lies about what actually happens with areas and with schools and between people. Before they further that at the middle school level, on off campuses, before they further that at the high school levels, before they further that to keep people either indifferent, worse than indifferent to criminally foreign influence states and areas and sciences and treatments of positive, or the hurt worse. Not saying that everyone would want to claim that they're an identity of the law and not a victim. The delusion's raw, and they are reported with criminally foreign influence premises treatments and sequence treatments anyway. They use the crime method of pretending that journalism is recorded, confessed, and demonstrated having been used and being used by their roles also with the branches of government individually grouped and together recorded crime methods. Like lying about, now these are people again with ground zero, leading up to ground zero from Connecticut, already enter Washington, D.C. Rolls with Chris Walter's mother, his sons, her son, a whole bunch of like 3, 4, 5 brothers and a sister. Nothing personal. They're his extended family members. Use of their kids' sense and sensibilities. Use of people's names. Only allowed stewardships of each age of kid with programs. Like the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts. That the treatments of everyone speaking through other rooms on and off those locations. Defenses of identity in relationship to positive treatments. That this racketeering method is about keeping positive as criminal and seditious natures of positive self-value, as logic racketeering. So we have experts online that are perpetually preventing people from free speech while they're stacking more and more racketeering acts and crimes in more and more cases as the only allowed natures of courts allowed to deal with fact treatments formally. Already in collusion with areas of overt criminal enterprises, foreign and domestic military, like at the end of and on and off Town Line Drive, even as the ones all along these routes, and with the exits of highways in town, as that location, and with the mall shared policing and the strip malls, distinctly, non-distinctly, and simultaneously involved with this. A whole bunch of people from CCSU, Trinity College, reported confessed with state police, DMT of locations. Excuse me, the Department of Motor Vehicles too, DOT, Department of Transportation. These are all long routes and roads. We're all database relationships. Private other kept needing to hide live progression. Those are identity ground locations, sense and sensibilities of individuals, groups, and together maintain misprision, maintain all knaves needed to react, needed to blame things on others and self for time treatment, needed to pretend they're about integrity, reliant upon that, reliant upon contrast. What made America great was the damage control that Native Americans did. But they lost too. But they won. They are the peak sophistication of nature through the damage control they did to the ancient republics preserved. It is most scientifically probable that and how the ancients who revealed English, not the semi-ancients, as they say, revealed English. They did damage control. They were roles with damage control, but that was also re-engineered, the history of it, re-engineered the substance of it to keep perpetually worse than obfuscated. For example, discernment of how the sciences share an identity. For example, where predicate act value is value to the discernment of an identity as a criminal and seditious nature. Predicate value is value in demonstration of its and of subject value, relationship to the greater value, identity of value progression, also distinctly and non-distinctly as positive treatment nature, as identity nature is, as value is, value's course is. It is positive's course, and positive's course is identity's source and way of things alone. The Trinity, this system as actual science, always true, not denying exceptions, actual scientific process. We have word phrases like scientific process, so originally and still. Trace it from there. They have a value, recorded value, criminally foreign influence, that phrase. Self-value delusion is wrong. I mean, we have to, these are people pretending that So these are people pretending people, when the people we have evaluating who's mentally stable, who's not, who's got physical delusions or not, they are recorded delusions raw, involved with identity thefts, fake conversations with people of each age of fact-cheating nature. That's how they kept and keep all kinds of racketeering, like with the prisons, on and off the state prison offices, associated with a whole bunch of people tied to houses in my area, tied to the one house slash S, associated with database racketeering with a former Mayor Gold's family when I was in a grammar school. That was also, I found out later, I didn't even know. See, these are people just putting little kids to fake locations. These are crime tricks where they spread, categorically, they tell lies through girls and boys, where they have people like a Rick C.M. Faglione. Years later, I found out a Leahy family was associated with him, with prosecutors and with judges retired and standing, involved with racketeering, with uses of databases with this. That's the judicial branch involved with racketeering with this former Mayor Gold. They're also involved with a Joshua Julian and with people with the KNERR and KERR, Kerr and Knur, recorded with, involved with them with a principal sex offenders campus. Also, the principal that when I was there, he was involved with sex crimes, but now his daughter's there, and she was involved with the principal with the sex offender crimes, and he was involved as a victim where they are recorded involved with a crime method where they make confessions about their parents' interbranch roles. With that, simultaneously, distinctly, non-distinctly, and simultaneously, where and how they make, and sequentially, criminally, where they make confessions about their roles and demonstration of their roles with the overt criminal enterprises. A Joshua Julian is recorded, confessed, and demonstrated also involved with WFSB and with their families associated with spreading and their uses of their kids with the prosecutors, attaching me and other people to fake conversations, lying about legal cases that were won, like the double, like an NLRB, National Labor Relations case, Relations Board case. My father won against federal criminals that are intercities associated with racketeering acts with people that were on off my campus with the schools I went to, with connected racketeering acts with databases recorded and with roles with the Dillon family. And now with my new and past neighbors, with them further involved with various natures of departments, family members at the colleges. So the identities of sciences, like the educational department. Also with conjunction had roles with Wethersfield Police Chief's daughter at the campus of the principal sex offender at the same time, and further now and then with other natures of roles with this Dillon family. Other people also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with racketeering with judges with this Leahy family and their racketeering acts, roles with them, mail crime, wire crimes, and crimes and cases with them, and criminal uses of depositions as the people involved with racketeering acts leading up to the Trade Center attack in the context and since, and with the investigators also involved through such acts. Well, thanks.